Good morning, Henning Pauli here, that's me. Some of you have asked, can you do a behind the scenes kind of a thing about how you make your videos? And yes, I can, but I'd rather do it well and show you the editing and show you the audio recording and all that stuff that I'm doing. But today I have a setup that's kind of really cool, so I thought I'd show you at least some of what goes into the more complicated setups. All of them are rather complicated with 4 or 5 cameras, but let me show you this crazy one. So, as for cameras, what do I use? People have asked me that. Well, the one that I'm filming with right now is this one. I know, how am I holding it? I have 2 of these. So this is the very low budget. I use it for when I simply don't have any more cameras for other angles, when we do the big video shoots with like bands or the acoustic sessions with Rafa. That's like camera number 7 or 8. So I also, for certain shots, use, let me get it out of the thingy here. I use, this is a inexpensive, about €100 Rollei action cam, which is not so great in terms of feature, in terms of image. The image isn't that great, but it has a screen, it has a lot of really cool things that it comes with, and for $100 for an additional camera, a backup camera, that's really not bad. I have the about €130 little GoPro, which isn't bad at all in terms of image quality, but it has a built-in battery. You can't change it. It's limited in terms of options. And I have a Hero 4 full-blown GoPro. So this is kind of when we did the shoot in the bathroom, where we had 3 angles from the ceiling. That's where we used those wide-angle mini action cams. But they're not really good enough for pedal demos for me. I know a lot of people use them for above the amp and stuff, but I really don't like the limitations with the battery. I don't like the wide angle fisheye thing, so I don't want to do that necessarily. I use it when it's appropriate from the ceiling for a wide shot. So today we're doing the LA Lady from Source Audio. Now that thing can be stereo, which means I gotta do a stereo setup. So let me show you the amp setup that I'm doing. Sorry for the crappy audio here and the crappy video, because this is my backup cam. So I'm using, because it's right here, a Fender Hot Rod amp, because it's, well, that'll be the mono amp when we do the mono demo. But and that's going with the cable right here into the 2 Notes Torpedo Live. Once I hook up the pedal in stereo, you're going to hear that in the clean channel of the Engel Metal Master, that's what it's called, which is standing right there. And that's actually going into the Torpedo Studio with the same speaker as the Live. So we have 2 clean channels running in stereo. That's where the pedal is. Now this pedal is, well, stereo, but it also can be controlled with an app, which means I have to connect it to an iPhone, which you want to see. At some point I started using 2 angles on the pedal, which I don't know if you appreciate that or not. I really don't care. I love it. I love that you can see the pedal 2D from above for all the controls, but you get a feel for the pedal from the side with some blurriness in the background. I really just like that angle, so I'm doing it. Which means we need a camera on the iPhone, a camera on the pedal, a second camera on the pedal. We need a camera on me, because come on, that's beauty. No, it's not. And we need a camera just for shits and giggles on the guitar for noodling around so you don't see my face all the time. Which, if you've counted, is 5. So here we go. Here's the main camera. It's a Sony, I don't know what it's called. PJ something. Let me see. It says it right there. HDR PJ650. You can't get this one anymore. It was about $800. It, for a long time, was my main camera. It's a pretty damn good camera for the price. And that's my main camera for pedal from above. It is connected to the wall with the Triad Orbit arm and a ball jiggly thing, so I can actually really get the right angle on that pedal. So the side angle is this. This is a Nikon, whatever it's called, D5500 with an 18 to 140 millimeter lens. 18 is important to get the wide angle. It's a pretty neat lens. That is also on a M2 from Triad Orbit, but it's also on an OA from Triad Orbit. Where did it say OA? There. So that I get more height, because I want it higher, and also the angle. And that's on an IOC, which is a clamp, so that's clamped onto my table, and that's how I can get that awesome angle. Okay, moving on. Up here, just because I needed more angles, I actually have an Triad Orbit O2X, is that what it's called? Yes. Which right now I'm only using for one arm, with a long arm, going to my brand new, I think it's the AX 33, right now the newer model is the 53. That's a Sony 4K cam, which has its benefits. So that's going down there in parallel to this cam so that I can film my phone. Now, these have to be very firm so that they don't move around once I have the angle. What I use for this is shit tons of these anti-slip mats that you can get. And I wash them and I cut them and then I buy more and I buy more. But this is pretty cool because, well, this one doesn't really stick anymore. But, bam, and it sticks. So you need to make sure that your pedal is firmly located on the table. And in this case, the cell phone. So that's what the 4K camera is doing. Then here we have another OA from Triad Orbit on a wall mount. These are all on the Triad Orbit wall mounts. In this case it's a table mount. Going on a short arm onto an M2, onto this Rode shotgun mic, which is the NTG3 in case you care. And that mic is going, let me see, pretty much right here, hopefully almost always not really in the shot of the camera. Right now it's a little bit in the camera, but you probably never really notice because it's such a tiny little thing. That's what she said. And that's my that's what she said button, which is connected to my Complete Control S25 into the sustain input, going into Cubase to Groove Agent, where I have recorded. That's what she said. That sample. Then that stuff's powered with these beautiful Chuck's power supplies. I've got everything I want here. 100, 100, 100, 100, 200, 200, 400, 400. And down here I've got the chocolate up to 600 milliamp on one output. AC outputs, everything I possibly want. All these cameras are being connected with power cables. So I bought power cables even for the SLRs. You can see power cables because I don't want in the middle of a shoot any of the batteries to go down. Over here, that is the camera for my guitar playing, so that'll be like this. That's the angle that we're getting. And right here we get a really nice SLR shot of the guitar playing. That is a Nikon. I know that stuff's boring to me, but you asked. I get this question a lot. What cameras do you use? So here we go. Nikon D5200 with the lens. It's a Sigma 17 to 70. It's a little bit more wide angle than the other one. It's a very nice lens. I said that on the other one too. So these are not the stock lenses that these cameras come with. And on these SLRs I can get a maximum recording time of 30 minutes, which for some of these demos is not enough, especially for the LA lady. It's a complicated pedal, it'll be difficult. So the main camera is up here. Again, this is on a M2, Triad Orbit M2, and an I/O clamp. Up here another wall mount with an OA and an M2 for any angle that I want. On the beautiful, I have to turn this around to read the number, that is the, where does it say that? I don't know. The Sony HDR CX900, something like that. I think that's what it is. This is a rather nice camera. Clocks in at about 1,300 bucks. So right now we've got 3 video cameras going and 2 SLRs. I have the option of using 2 more of these Panasonic, the small ones, but you see the quality reduction. If I really need to, I do that. But then I also have the action cams. But on the way, for you, because I'm freaking crazy, is a Sony AX1. That's about a 4,000 euro, 4,500 euro 4K mega cam. It'll be bigger. That's what she said. And I don't know. It'll be bigger than and heavier than the CX900, but hopefully bring a serious boost to some image quality. I mean, I like what I'm getting, but I'm always on the lookout for more. That shotgun mic, there's one that's more expensive. I'm in the market for that. I want that shit to be as good as it can be. Lighting. Let's talk about lighting. Well, above me is this. That's, I think, Durr. D-E-R-R. That's a Durr light. Hanging on, again, a triad orbit mount. That makes sure that my hair looks good. And then I've got, on a triad orbit mount right there, an LED panel with 600 LEDs. Above my screen, there's one with 600 LEDs. This contraption, I did that before I had Triad Orbit. So I'm getting a 4K screen this week, and that ugly motherfucker is gonna go, and I'm actually gonna put an Orbit wall mount there, because that is what I had to do before I had Orbit wall mounts. Check this shit out. That's not pretty. And then back there, again, on Orbit, there's another LED. And I actually can, which is very nice, I can just control these with my little remote, so I don't even have to get up. Sometimes, obviously, I have other angles, which is why there's more Triad Orbit mounts. And there's a stick coming out of the ceiling right there. And I'm actually planning on putting more on the ceiling because it's way cool. There's one right above my desk, which we'll be using in the same video, when in the middle of the video I have to change the setup to a pedalboard setup. Yes, so I'm going to have to do that. So there's one right there, which will be able to film the pedalboard right there in the second part of this video, when this whole setup has to change. So, this is my video setup for the day, which I know I've said it a billion times already in this video, without TO Triad Orbit Advanced Stand Systems or something like that. Completely freaking impossible. How else would you do this? So, this stuff allows me to do what I need to do for you. And it's fun every day, so thanks for watching. If you have more questions, I might do another video of this more in depth about the actual editing, the audio recording, because yes, I'm recording that mic, I'm recording the amps, but then I'm actually doing editing later on, where I cut out my voice, I make it so that it's nice, okay? You don't want that mic to go once I'm playing guitar, because then you hear the room sound, you hear the pick sound. We don't want that, we want the pure amp sound. I can show you stuff in Final Cut. I use a lot of plugins for Motion VFX, which is a great company. I invest a lot of money into those plugins, so that it's always fresh, always new for you guys. And, yeah, here's my fluffy pink unicorn, which will play a major role in a review I'm doing. It's gonna come out of its little baggie. Yes, I have these stands. Sometimes I actually put guitars on them. And out there is my ferret cage, because everyone needs a ferret cage. Beautiful ferret cage. Okay, that's it. I'm actually going to film this now. Thanks for watching. You guys are crazy. I love you.